All right, so we're gonna talk about this. And when I was doing the research about Dr. Phil and psychology, psychology, racism, I stumbled over the video and I talked about this about the treasure and about the crack epidemic, CIA, UCLA involved, and Dr. Jolie Lewis West. And I got a question for everybody. They had these violence centers conducted by the CEO, CIA, excuse me, um, psychiatrist who worked at UCLA called Dr. Jolie West. Dr. Lewis Jalon with Jolie West, Jolie was his nickname, had conducted these studies among youth of African American and Hispanic descent. And most of these dudes, these young men, these boys too, were in jail cells, detentions, and they was given, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, given some medication or done some psychiatric study to the point it made them more crazier than what they already are. When used politically incorrect word, but it made them more violent, whatever, and it like the drugs was worse. Let's say they had bipolar or schizophrenia or something like that. The drugs made them do worse than who they are. Okay, especially those who came out of broken homes, well, crack infested homes, drug dealing. There was either thugs, cholo parents, gangster parents, whatever, in both of these communities. And it was focused in LA. And I also saw a report that was also done in New York as well. Okay. So, damn, let's go on the East Coast and West Coast with this shit. So, anyway, Dr. Lewis Holy West did some type of study. I don't got more detail this or some type of put medication on our brothers and Latino brothers, and when they were in the youth and they was locked up in prisons or detentions, and it made them violent worse than who they are. So as I see this mess going on in California and reading about research about the gangs in California, and I would love to ask Alonzo to jump on this, who streetgangs.com, to look at this, and actually I might shout him out to look at this. That do you think that this white man part of CIA? Because this point is connection here, and I wish Ricky Ross and all other folks would come on as well. Looking into this, Dr. Jalodi West was part of the CIA, and crack was invented. Not, and I thought we always heard the mystery that somebody in the hood, some brother in the hood, got some cocaine and turned into crack. No, they say crack was invented at UCLA. Yes, UCLA. So this is weird. Yeah, this is weird. This is weird. This man, this man is evil. He died 99. That was next year, be 20 years of his death. But this was a wicked man. Wicked. So now I compared him to Dr. Phil with the treasure situation. When the girl said she was a full blown white woman, knowing that she had a lot of white women, all of us got dry white, some of us ain't pure black. So the psychiatric racism that happened. So the men, these youth, and this is back in the 60s and 70s, and in the 80s, 90s, well, actually 90s and 80s, a lot of these brothers, Latino brothers as well, were in these violent centers and given these medications, okay, and given these psychiatric stuff, these shock treatments, and it made them violent. Worse to also, you hear in gangster rap and Chicano gangster rap, with black gangster rap, whatever, all these weird stuff. And I also saw someone say on a white man say he did a study on this that you hear about um psychiatric depression. You hear about the Celine Dion, all the other stuff. But when you hear about schizophrenia, which was used in the 60s when African American people were fighting for their rights, they was using this as schizophrenia. They many a claim. Um, they also say that you hear a lot of rappers use it as a calming word to fight back. I'm schizophrenic, it's schizophrenia, and I was diagnosed with y'all. Listen to this, 10 years ago, schizophrenic disorder, 2012. Now I decided I was bipolar, and this concerns me as an African American man. Also, I'm also white and American down the infantry, and also Hispanic origin, part Hispanic, because my four grandfather was a Real, okay, was Black Spanish Creole, so that I'm part Hispanic as well. This concerns me real. I'm doing, and so you talking too much. Well, the Bible in 82 of Psalms say, "Speak for those who can't speak for themselves." So I'm actually doing what God want me to do. I'm doing the curse and everything else, but I'm also doing God's work as well. While speaking up for those who out there who probably been affected by this, by Dr. Jolene West. And I look at the black and brown racism in Los Angeles, and I say it's weird. And I'm dissecting it on the educational level, not on the eating hood, ghetto body level. I'm doing it on the educational level as opposed to one thing you go to a problem, you always go to the root of the problem. You don't go to the trunk of the tree. You don't go to the leaves of the tree. You go to the root of the tree, or the chop tree down. And Dr. Jolie West, who was part of the CIA, they were making crack cocaine in UCLA. And then there's also too, on Instagram, I had to shot a video on Instagram of a woman named Nancy Schaefer. She got killed in 2010. I believe they said she's suicide. No, she got killed. I don't believe that story like they did Sandra Bland. She got killed because she exposed CPS. All this sex trafficking with children. You have people who pedophiles in CPS. Okay, CPS became a business. It's supposed to be protecting children, but no, they're actually going to poor neighborhoods, private families, especially of color, of African American, Hispanic. Instead of taking the children out of the house who are being actually abused, they ignoring those cases, and they also going after healthy families and saying and making all these laws, unwritten laws, to against these families to take them out, especially when folks lie on the child, lie on the parents that they abuse their child and they not. That's a mess, okay? And they are abused. They taking these abusive children and taking them to custody, to foster homes, and also prostituting these children, and also sexually abusing these children. So a lot of these folks don't look at this case. And when she exposed it in Georgia, state and ghetto ass Georgia, is what Lovey T say on her channel, um, she got killed. CPS, yes, CPS is also, and I know it's kids of color, especially of African American and Latino descent. They're being targeted. If they are abused, they're getting abused worse. And I looked at Dr. Field with Treasure, and when Treasure's sister came out and exposed her family, there's abuse in the family, and I think Dr. Field probably in his midst, in my opinion, so it's my opinion, I won't make no lies. I don't put it in past that man. Okay, clout chasing. They probably did to catch me outside. Okay, so point is, then you hear about Michael Jackson's daughter when she had psychiatric problem. I'm talking about Paris Jackson, and she was sexually abused at at UCLA. And I'm starting to hear that. So when I put two together, I'm like, wait, this is correct. And then like, I don't know why they trust UCLA, because Michael Jackson got his nose done over there. Okay, I wouldn't put nothing past UCLA, and I'm glad I didn't go to college there. I used to, when I was back when I was coming up as a kid, I used to want to go to college, move to LA and go to UCLA. I'm glad I never went to that damn school. Hell no. There's so much corruption there. It's just pitiful. But I had to bring up Nancy Schaefer in this, who is supposed CPS, and we're gonna talk about this too. They are, I mean, no, and I'm hearing so many cases of children being sexually abused when they are committing heinous crimes. They're put in adult prison, and they also child adults, especially adults of minority, and they're also being sexually abused by the jail workers along with those who are prisoners. And when I see scared straight, I'm for scared straight, the intention of scaring the children so they won't go to Doug life and gangs and all other stuff. But I always something weird about these men in prison, actually, like they really being for real. They're actually targeting these boys and say they want to make them their girlfriend. Like they're actually being real instead of being fake, trying to scare them. It seemed to me they also are into having sex with those kids. So, and speaking of Georgia, when the vice lords, I think it was vice lords or which one of those gangsters, or gangsters, like one of them had got in trouble. They looked, he did a story about this of them sexing, and everybody was shocked. Gangster recruiting, sexing kids in. There's nothing new. If you go to jail or prison, and you having boys who commit heinous crimes in the hood, the body, or whatever, the ghetto, the projects, what you want to call it, and these older cats, the veterans, the OGs, the veteranos, whatever they African American, even if they're white, okay, are in the grown ass men, or to be our daddies and grandpas and stuff, sexing these kids, and they ain't gangsters, they nothing new. Okay, yeah, of course, you didn't hear it in the open when the gangster was big back then. It was the women getting sex, the girls getting sexed in, but no, it's the boys too. Let me tell you about down low. They ain't nothing new. The down low ain't nothing new. If let me say something, what straight men gonna be asking men if you gay? What straight men? Unless the man is coming on to you, that's the only time you answer that question. But you don't rampantly pursue someone being gay and all this other stuff. And I had to bring Africa Bottle situation. I'm looking at Africa Bottle with a sex case in New York about that situation as well. Okay? And a lot of folks don't know. So all this sexual stuff coming out, this ain't nothing new. There ain't nothing new, y'all. Ain't nothing new in the sun. Okay? Okay? These sexual stuff, this deviance is mess going in, and y'all talking about in gay hip hop is gay this and that, and y'all talking about no how that's the homosexual part of hip hop came to be is when they start bringing the prison culture, and in prison there's no women, and that's the women guards, and the people go in there and have sex. And not always rape. That's a playground for them to expose who they really are when they're in prison because no one can talk shit. Because if you do hate on someone saying they're gay, then you might be ready to be raped, or either they look at you as a sexual deviant ready to go in and have sex. But in open, they go back being straight in public. So there's nothing new under the sun, okay? Now, I brought this up because when Nancy Schaefer exposed this, CPS get these abused kids. The sex trafficking, the children trafficking goes on. Then they take them to foster homes where they know these folks are sexual deviants to children, violent deviants, be abused and everything else. And it's a business. They get paid to take these kids to the foster homes. So when I see this mess, and I'm also looking at this, and I look at Dr. Jolie West, and I see that when I read about them, when they said black and Hispanic men, when I'm looking at the report, I said, uh-oh, LA County, wait a second. That's why you have this mess goes on. That's why. That's why you have this mess go on because these young brothers, African American and Hispanic, who come out of broken homes where the gang violence and drugs are going on, they're being targeted by CPS. They've been targeted by this doctor, and they go to these violent centers and get drugged, get shock treatment, and they get worse than who they are, and they become the animals in what they try to. Because this is eugenics syndrome. As Donald Trump said, they ain't bringing the Mexico City the best. You gotta listen to the lingo of his tone. He knows he's talking about because they already had organized this mess a long time ago. These brothers, the Latino brothers, go violent, and if they're rappers, they bring it out in their own. They be schizophrenic and they be bipolar, and they go worse than who they are when they own these drugs. Then they go look for drugs in the streets, will be Kush, will be bombing for. This need to be exposed. Okay, and same with Nancy Schaefer. You gotta put two together. When she exposed this mess about CPS being a business, she got killed. She got killed, baby. She got killed. But she probably in heaven, like any martyr. Like because I'm a Catholic. When Saint Peter, where we had saints praying for us in heaven, when they was persecuted by the Roman Empire, they were venerated in the church because they in heaven is what Saint John say in the saints in heaven pray, and the angel of God gives us prayers to God. Okay, in Revelation chapter 5 and 8, it's why we honor, not worship, we honor the saints. Okay, they are God's co-workers. Those are God's warriors. So she was martyred. Martin King, people make Martin King's death. He's martyred. He 19 died for the Lord. Okay, and that's why they get honored in the Catholic Church. Okay, and so when people ask them in heaven for them to pray for them because they know the scriptures of the prayers of the saints, the communion saints prayer, those prayers are answered because the prayer of a righteous man is effective. It's with hello y'all, my phone. The prayers of a righteous man is effective in St. James chapter 5. Okay, so y'all gotta understand that's what we believe in. Okay, that's why when people ask for their prayer, um, God answered those prayers. Okay,